Hi Ron, it's Beth here. I just wanted to go over some feedback about the interview process that I did with my client just now. Some of the things that I liked in this process were my nonverbal cues. I felt that I nodded my head at the appropriate times, I used good eye contact, and I also had good body posture as I leaned in to show my client that I was interested in what he was talking to me about. I felt like I did a lot better at paraphrasing this time than the first assignment. I put a lot of what he was saying into my own words to get a clear picture of what the problem actually was. I feel like I sympathized with him and showed that I understood where he was coming from. I also felt as though I gave a lot of encouragement and kind of praising him, I guess, for coming in and taking that first step to talk about what was going on. I also sympathized in the fact that I agreed that what he was going through was tough. There was one part in the interview where my client was talking about a mistake that had happened at work, and I felt as though I asked more about what the problem actually was and what the details were of the mistake, which was me getting more information from my client. I asked questions about the boss of my client and what she actually said to my client to make him feel as though he wasn't prepared to take on the workload. Some of the things that I didn't like about the video when I watched it back was that I still feel as though I used the word okay a lot. There was also a word that I used at one point in the interview. I said totally when I was explaining to my client about how I totally understand. I think I could have probably used a different word, so I guess some of my word choice wasn't the best. Another thing that I didn't like was closer towards the end of the video when I asked my client to, tell me a little bit about what the major problem was. My client specifically told me that the social aspect of it was probably where the root of his problem lied, and then I almost dismissed that idea and went back to the work situation. And he had talked to a little bit about financial problems, and at that point I feel like I dismissed it a little bit. Some of the things that my client liked about this process was he said that I had really good eye contact, and that I was open and willing to talk. And some of the things that he didn't like about the interview was he also mentioned that I used the word okay a little bit too much, and he said that some of my hand gestures could be distracting to him at certain times. And at one point I interrupted him and said the word okay in the middle of one of his sentences. So yeah, I guess this video, I really did enjoy it. I think that the main thing that I really liked about it was my paraphrase, and I think I did a good job at that. Alright, well thanks Ron.